Herzlich willkommen auf dem Freigeist Kongress, dem Kongress für selbstbestimmtes und freies Leben. Und heute mit mir im Gespräch Amir Weiss. Herzlich willkommen, Amir. Schön, dass du Zeit hast.
Ja, danke. Herzlich von dir. Herzlichen, ja.
Ja, we
Inviting me.
we mix it a little bit. Als
Ja,
Information für die Zuhörer, Zuschauer, ich werde die Fragen großteils in Deutsch stellen und Amir wird es in Englisch beantworten. Wir machen einen Untertitel drunter. Und sometimes when we mix German and English. It's good for the brain to connect the both things in the brain.
both sides of the brain.
Yeah.
So it's a feeling and listening together.
Ja, ja. Amir, die erste Frage, the first question ist, du hast das Weiss-Institut gegründet, das sich mit Süchten beschäftigt. Wie
Ja,
kommst du dazu? Wie bist du draufgekommen, das zu gründen? Und ja, was sind denn für Süchte, die du da ansprichst?
ja. So, das ist natürlich lange Geschichte. Ich hatte auch in meinem Buch geschrieben.
Mhm.
Aber vielleicht ich wechsle zu Englisch und Entschuldigung für die deutschen Leute. Aber wie du hast gesagt, Untertitel kommt unten
Ja,
später.
ja, genau.
So my journey actually started when I was very interested in basically human life and the big questions, why we are here as humans, what we are doing here,
Mhm.
what we're supposed to do here. Is there is a plan, or is it everything arbitrary? Everything is just a, a mistake of nature, or are we here to do something specific? And this research basically continues as well till today of what we are human here to do. And in one of my researches and journey, I was basically very interested in human behavior and what human doing and why they do what they do, including myself, of course, because it started as a personal question of what am I doing here? Why I was born here as human? And just many highlight, just the fact that I can think about it was surprising me as a young boy. Because I didn't so most people don't ask this question, and when you come to adults and say why we are here on earth, and nobody have an answer, obviously, except of work and earn money and have a family and have children and sometimes go to vacation. So this was more or less the answers that was obviously very not satisfied for my way of thinking. So in all this, I started to research different kind of things and look in different things and travel all over the world and met very interesting people. And one of the aspects that I came across is the whole idea of the human is not just obviously the flesh. The flesh is just manifestation of something, of not something, something very important. But as your name of the seminar or congress, you call it, we came from somewhere and something we manifest as a body here, or condense, I would say, as a flesh, as every human is. And then each of us doing different things, but most people seems like doing more or less the same or thinking the same. But obviously, one of my very interesting aspect was that first I realized that there are two kind of, when you open your eyes, there are two kinds of human. One is the female and one is the male. And this was fascinating on its own, which led to another really big research about the whole relationship between male and females and humans and what we are here to do and how we're supposed to live. And one of the things, as I say, I came across is the whole idea of the electromagnetic fields. And obviously, everything that we do, think, or behave, or feel have a certain radiation, have every actually body parts radiate, every thoughts have a energy, it's all energies around us that mostly we don't see and don't think about it, but it's all energies. And I started to research about this electromagnetic field called as well the aura, many people know in German, or aura in English. And I started to try to sensitize myself. Do I really feel it, and what I feel, and what the frequency of each feeling is, and where it's seated, and how it looks like. And obviously this was a long research, and I started to, obviously with started to, after as well my travel, and I saw people doing healing with the hands and energy that come from our hands. And maybe later if we talk about color frequency, why we have even 5 finger and not 6 or 3 like some. Yeah, and I realized that each finger have a different frequency, even different frequency between our lengths of our hands and the palm of the hands. And different parts can do different things, and the difference between left hand and right hand. So it all got really fascinating, and maybe we'll come later about the time we are in. So basically question everything and trying to sensitize myself and try to do healing first on my children and family, pull them when something happened, and after as well experience in Ecuador and other people who basically manage to take pain or heal wounds or heal different things through the hands. I thought, why not to try, and got amazing results. And I was very surprised the effect that it had. And then at a certain point, I didn't know what to do with it. I obviously lived as everybody else, did many things in my life, work in many jobs, and learn in the university as well. And there I came with a lot of questions and nobody could answer them. But before I've been in actually in the university, I had an incredible experience as well in South America, but mainly actually in Alaska, surprisingly. I don't know if I wrote it in the book or not, but when you get encounter with certain energies that your complex never met before or never felt before. And just to say, after this experience in nature, it was, I basically got totally perplexed, and I thought, gosh, there is something in this world that I wasn't sure if somebody know about or what they know about, but just to say, after this encounter in Alaska in one of my treks there, I couldn't sleep for 3 days. I was just sitting and writing books and notebooks and notebooks for hours and hours. And then an amazing experience of, I would say, falling in love with our planet, with the complex, with the whole idea of living. And yeah, and then after this, many experiments started. And then at a certain point, I heard that our prime minister, I don't think he was a prime minister at that time. He was one of the ministers, Shimon Peres. I don't know if you heard about it in Israel. He was a big smoker together with Rabin. And anyhow, he went to someone in Italy and he told that he doesn't understand what he did to him. He did to him some, move his hands around, and he stopped smoking. So I thought, oh, maybe I'll start to experiment with this one, because I knew, basically started as an experiment. And that's how it's all started. So the whole method of trying to see if I can help people to quit smoking in this case. My father was one of those smokers.
Mhm.
and experiment with it. And for many years, I basically just did it for free. And people, I asked them in the street, do you want to try? And there was amazing results. And I thought, okay, why not to start to make it something? A lot of people say, look, I want to give you something. I want to donate to you money. It wasn't started as a business, obviously.
Mhm.
All, and yeah, after more researching in the electromagnetic field, more sensitize oneself, more understanding what I'm dealing with. So it slowly developed to really a whole method.
Mhm.
And I started to offer to people to if they want to. And that's how it started in Israel. Then with my wife, we had another big organization we established organization called Wellbeing Sciences, where we researching different alternative methods to help people. So meeting with many people, trying to establish different things. And in between this method more and more established when we decide, my wife, she's not Israeli, from New Zealand, we decide to move away. I suddenly got an invitation from a lady in Austria if I can help. And that's how it started here in Germany. So in Israel, I started already, I treated thousands of people.
Mhm.
And it really became a big, I don't know if a movement, but
Mhm.
so I
Mhm.
started to help with people with smoking, then people came with sugar, and people came with different problems. So that's how it developed.
Mhm.
And alcohol and many others, all
Mhm.
kind of obsessive behaviors. And I started to see that what was slowly developed become
Mhm. Kann
actually a method,
ja,
which I knew
ja.
at the time, but uh, I had to develop. Then people start ask me to if I can train them, and that's how it all developed.
Mhm.
And from 2006, I found myself on the flight Israel, Austria, almost every month for hundreds of people. And then I say to my wife, maybe we need to move to Austria.
Mhm.
But she didn't like it so much. So we look in South Germany, and then that's how we found ourselves from 2008, 9. We found ourselves here in Germany,
Mhm.
and it's developed here more and more. I train more people from all over Europe, in America. So
Mhm.
yeah, and I don't identify myself, although we're living in a world where people need a label. So they start to call me expert in addiction problem, but I don't see myself as an expert. I try to be expert in human life and human behavior
Mhm.
and understanding all our existence here. And in between, I think the frame of doing this method helped me a lot to meet many people and
Mhm.
work because it's a never ending, I call it's a never ending journey.
Mhm. Ja, ja.
So I made it as well my way of income, and that's how it's developed. And
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
I would say I don't know if it makes
Ja,
sense.
ja, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ich möchte noch mal kurz zurückkommen, Amir. Du
Ja,
hast beschrieben, dass du Menschen mit Alkohol, mit Rauchen unterstützen kannst, helfen kannst. Das ist Zucker dabei gewesen.
ja,
Vielleicht kannst du die Methode mal ein kleines bisschen beschreiben, wenn es möglich ist, und was für Suchtstoffe du noch behandeln kannst. Denn der Hintergrund ist ja, der Freigeist geht ja darum, dass wir uns erweitern. Und
ja,
oftmals sind ja Süchte das Problem, das uns im Weg stehen. Ja? Gerade sehr sensible Menschen
ja,
haben oftmals noch Anhaftungen an Alkohol oder Drogen oder Zigaretten. Ja, weil sie sich vielleicht auch dämpfen müssen. Ja,
Ja.
vielleicht kannst du das mal beschreiben, also was das alles, was du behandelst, was du mit deiner Methode sozusagen mitnimmst und ja, wie die Methode denn genau aussieht.
Okay, so in order to explain really the method more in depth, I'll try to make it short
Ja, ja.
and it's maybe bring to the first question how everything started,
Mhm.
why we are here and what we are meant to do. And one of the realization, which was for me still very fascinating, that we human actually here to define habit as we can, because habitual life or habits or Sucht, obviously there are different level of Sucht. Yeah, there
Mhm.
is many words when you say Sucht or Suchen in German, which I
Ja.
like this word because it suggests that people looking for something,
Ja.
you're Sucht for something, and you try to fill yourself with something that apparently you think satisfy you. So my view is we are not supposed to be satisfied from anything. And so whatever we take in, we need to be careful what we take in. And this is not only in eating or through our mouth, which is to do with what we mentioned, Sucht, like alcohol, drugs, smoking, sugar. Is not when I'm saying sugar, just to put a point here, we're talking about refined sugar. Everything that we take that is not naturally to our complex to deal with. Yeah, this is what I call Sucht. But also Sucht could be many different emotional aspects. You know, a lot of people say, I don't know why I always react on the same way. They want to change their behavior. And this aspect of change and Sucht is very fascinating and have many different levels, because I think the most, or maybe I'll come uh, to something we speak about, and it's as well in my book, the four level of things that the human is intake, yeah, or put in, because we humans, we are processing machine. We take in everything from our what we see, for what we feel from other people, and we take them in four different levels mainly. Yeah, the first one is what is called, I don't know, solid food, yeah, fast and food,
Mhm.
yeah, everything that is, yeah. So we eat different things, and compared to many other organic life here, the human here, which is one of the why we are partly why we have a choice, which most of the organic life here on the planet doesn't have a choice.
Mhm.
They are fixed to certain frequencies of what they eat.
Mhm.
Yeah, so which is as well fascinating subject of who eat what and why. Our cats, for example, I don't see that they don't go for the sugar, they don't go for chocolate. They go to hunt the birds that we find every day, birds or mouses, or they eat something else. But we have more varieties. Yeah, they don't eat plants, or they eat grass if they want to throw up to clean the intestine, but they don't eat even uh, plants. So the first level, I would say, is this solid food that we take. The second is liquids, which is as well most animal need and have and must have, which is mainly water. And this is, you see, what the human did. It took the water and the drink and manipulate it in many different levels with different taste, and put in it all different kind of things. And this is as well a fascinating area, why we human doesn't satisfy with just what we have naturally we got from the planet, but we manipulate different things, including the fast food, as we know. Everything manipulated, mainly oil, which is interesting on its own because of the world we live in is a money-making and build on economy. So they're trying to get the people to have more than what they need. So partly that's the way you can control people and control economy. So if they put your sugar in every food, yeah, and they know that sugar causes certain, release all kind of things in the brain and hormones. So rather than say to you, look, why don't we put apple in it, which is a good sugar? Yeah, they manipulate and refine different things and put different things, which is interesting on its own, the whole process. It's obviously evolutionary process that the human have the ability to refine everything. But instead of refining the higher parts, which we come to it in a moment, they're refining things but they're taking out of them all the nutriment that's supposed to be in those things. So back to the liquids, we manipulate, and then they Coca-Cola, alcohol, beer. Some of them, they be necessary. I mean, they're all interesting, each of them, the history of all of those drink as well, sugar, because it's, yeah, the human lived in different places and didn't have much food, so they try to manipulate things so they can get nourishment from other things. But today, you know, the world's become a little village, so we eat everything from everywhere, and we eat mostly a lot of things that we are not meant to or don't need to even.
Yeah.
So this is the water, the liquids. The other level is what I call air, yeah, or gaseous. So we breathe, and it's interesting if we look at them, because without hard food, we can live, I don't know, 60, 80 days without those food. Without liquids, we can live even more than maybe 8 days. You have to have water. You know, and very interesting just to say about the water and the way we are brainwashed in many different things. When I was in different situation when there was no water to find, you know, and you ask as well a lot of people when they are in a difficult situation, what they think about. I thought about, I've been in a journey in the desert for a few days and the water finished, and all what you think, I thought, if I will survive this, I will come here and I'll open here a Coca-Cola stand. So what you thought about is Coca-Cola. You didn't thought about water, which I found it really curious. For me, it was as well an alarm at how we've been brainwashed to think about different things in a. So, and then we coming to air, and without air, we can't live. I don't know. I think what the big, I think some people could live or dive without air, I think, for 8 minutes. I think this was the maximum. So we're going from 8 days from liquids to 8 minutes maximum. I think most people 3-4 minutes can. And I don't know if the feeling, if you have being without an air, yeah, what's the feeling? Well, if we can breathe, yeah, we basically can't survive, obviously.
It's panic.
Yeah, and panic and all complex, which is interesting, the whole quality of air and what there is, the content of the air and what it's implied. Because there are liquids as well in the air, by the way. There are nourishment in the air in different levels, but not to go too deep into it. And then we're going into what I think the most fascinating things, which I call electrical impressions or electrical signal. Because I don't know if you know, but people who you close them, if you shut off all the electrical signal from the human, he die on the spot, basically. Without our heart ticking, which is electrical signal coming from the planet through the source of creation. And God, we can't live even 1 second. So we're getting different electrical impression, and we have a interesting mechanism on top of our shoulder, which called the head and the brain, which is a different entity from the rest of the body, obviously. And we all know as well medically, everything lives on those electrical signal. You know, if you get heart attack, they take this voltage 200, I don't know how many, and trying to survive you with electrical, same the brain. If the brain stopped to have its electrical signal, you consider to be dead, basically. So this is the 4 level of things, and those electrical signals bring me to your question. So we mentioned alcohol, which has more to do with drink, sugar, more fast food, smoking to do with air and why we, yeah. And then there is all variety of incredible behavior of electrical signal that we produce. Some people have a kick from shopping. Some people have a kick from sexual. Some people have, the brain, which is, as I say, a different entity, live on very different frequency and need different kind of food. And if we don't feed him in the right food, he basically go to everything it can find, for a new car to, I don't know, whatever it can find that it can get its electrical food. And from this, people develop different kind of behavior and thinking that cause them to be obsessed about certain things, whether it's, as I mentioned, shopping, nail biting, hair pulling. We have varieties of many, many things to obviously thinking and emotional reactions and many, many different. I think it's the variety is endless from the human behavior and thinking, which is fascinating on its own, because I would say in general that we, as we say, I say about where is the camera, 5 finger, we generate through 5 motors of energy, through 5 center of energy, which are to do with thinking, moving center or automatic center, our instinct, our emotion center, and our sexual centers. This is our generator motor mainly, but we can only work here on the planet through 7 frequencies of energy, that everything that happens here on the planet and everything that we do fall into this, I would say, 7 different drawers, which have the 7 different colors as we know them. It's very fascinating on its own, because as we know, today in the evening, I think here in Germany, or there will be a solar eclipse. You probably know it. Everybody in the North America talk about it, and all astronomers, because, you know, in one of the solar eclipses, I can't remember which year, they actually discovered the 7 colors, the 7 frequency of the spectrum. And I didn't knew it through the through the astronomy, but I knew it through the electrical, our magnetic field, that we have 7 layers in our aura, and I have 7 different colors, which are correspond with the spectrum color, or even the notes in music, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. And we have the colors, which is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And there are 2 more, but this we maybe, if we go into the aspect of the spirit and the soul, we're talking about another 2 different, another 2 different frequency, or silver and gold, or whatever we come to it. And I think all this, which is interesting, managed by the soul. So even I would say we develop, because of our behavior, certain psychologies and certain, obviously we are printed by different things, and we adopted certain behaviors either from others or because of certain trauma that happened to us, or because how we arranged, we develop all kind of behaviors or acts that keep us what we think to survive in this world, which is mostly, unfortunately, not a natural world. As I say, we've been brainwashed by many things, and we think we can't live. Now, I know people, and I met many people, water doesn't taste to them. They can't drink water. They have to put something sweet in them, or a very different, interesting behaviors that happen to the humans. It's actually, we're talking through millennia, not only in this time, but it's history of the human behavior, which is as well lodged in different parts of those layers. As I spoke about the electromagnetic field, it's our aura. We're sitting like in an electrical balloon. It's bringing me to your question about my treatment in a minute, because we're living inside the electrical balloon, kind of. And everything that we radiate, everything we think, everything we do, as I say, it's leave a mark or it stay there as electrical signal. Yeah, because it's as well fascinating. People say the memories sit in our brain. Yes, there are parts in the brain, but most of our memory of all of our life actually sit in our electromagnetic field. Yes. When we try to think, oh, we look at certain parts in different parts of our, because they're sitting in different parts and in different level, in those 7 levels. So certain behavior lodge in the red frequency, certain behavior lodge in the orange frequency, in the yellow and the green, and so forth and so forth. And it's interesting, the whole idea of sleep. We're supposed to be in contact with all those levels when we sleep, by the way. When the aura, they say sleep tight in English. The aura is supposed to come down. There is a certain mechanism. I don't go into it too much, but we're supposed to be in contact with everything that happened in our life, and we're supposed to be cleaned and fresh from our yesterday. That brings us to another issue that we're dealing with, which is sleep. When they sleep, the aura doesn't really get cleaned. So they sleep and they wake up on the same things that happened yesterday. Now, there is a good part in our certain parts which has to do with our automatic center, because if we had to wake up every day totally new, we wouldn't know how to wake up. Yeah, we had to learn everything new, from walking to get dressed. And we are learning, which a learning process is another eating of electrical signals. So we put them inside a certain system. And slowly, when we grow up, we don't have to think too much about certain things. So what we put in our automatic system is very interesting. And as I say, those behavior lodge in this different level in our electromagnetic field. And what's happening in the treatment? So we have the human who basically live in many different levels and eating everything from those 4 levels and generate energy and collect energy and process it and refine it, and sometimes manage to relegate certain things, like if happened to you something bad, you sit with yourself, okay, how shall I deal with it? And you process it, and then either you manage to relegate it or you become the victim of it and you say, look, that's how I am, I can't deal with it, blah, blah, blah. Now we're coming now to a different world, which I need to introduce to you and maybe the viewer. Am I talking too fast, or is it?
No, it's really good. Thanks. You're not talking too fast.
No. And I think it's introducing to why we actually have what I call an envelope around our aura. And is it an envelope that it's closed, or is it process as well things outside, or is it possible to process things outside of our own aura? So I watch you, you watch me, other of you now might watch us, and you think it's outside of our electromagnetic field, but eating it, by absorbing it, by listening, by our five senses as well, through hearing, through looking. We can't smell through our computer, but if we had, we met a few times, there are as well smell to every electrical signal. So every electrical signal have different clothes, different clothing. Like we wear our shirts, yeah. Every electrical signal have as well a color, which is its first cloth, a sound, which is his second cloth, and a third as well, which is his smell. Yeah. So, and there is as well in this world, which is interesting, with the question where our thoughts come from. If you have a new thinking and you're trying to think new in this Congress and find new way how to think about things. And I would say that we are actually not alone in this universe, although we're talking here a lot about the human and each person with his problem and behavior, we think, I'm alone in this world. And a few times I say to people, look, the fact, even that you can breathe, and I even take the water, all those are manifest of electrical signal from the universe, including actually our minerals, that we are creature that was manifest from the whole universe, from God and creation, and find its way here on the planet in certain form. Now, if we can trace those things where they come from, and even, I don't know if you have people there, you interview neuropsychologists, neuro people, biochemistry, you will ask where oxygen come from. Yeah, it doesn't originate in the planet. It's just coming here. Yeah, and we're using it. It's all those things are, which is fascinating because we didn't spoke about even the name of your Congress, which is a free spirit, where those spirits come from, where Thomas actually come from. Yeah, which is fascinating because we humans are not from here, from this planet. We are actually guests here. And I know we behave like we own everything. And this is our place. And that's why part of the problem of many things. And we think that if I think something, yeah, it's my thought. It's my this, it's my that. This is me, this is that. It's not. It's all electrical signals, some of them been already processed by other people in different these 7 draws, or you can reach to something totally new. Like they say, under the sun, there is nothing new. And today in the eclipse, you can see beyond the sun. And beyond the sun, everything is new. At least here, it's new to us. It's not new in the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even what the human design got permission to even take, those electrical signal and manifest them through electricity, what we're sitting now. And you watch me through, you're sitting in one side of Germany, I'm sitting in another side. And it's all electrical signal that manifest in those screen that we both sitting and staring to on each other, which is fascinating on its own. And at the same time, I'll just take something that I like to use, which is the mint. We're sitting here stable when the planet actually running around, rotating 1,000 kilometers per second and rotate around the sun. And yet we don't move. We are stable here. And we think this is our world, but we live in a much, much bigger world, as we know, the whole universe. And in this universe, there are many, many energies and many frequencies that actually was designed and meant to help us human to live here, because we as human, I didn't maybe had to start with it, it's the most unique organic things, or the most unique, I don't know how to call it, creature is not the right word even, that actually exist in the universe. We got those faculties, we got these machineries actually to do something. We even got the eyes. I didn't saw our cats, sitting and staring and say, oh, I wonder when the moon eclipse or the sun eclipse or looking in the stars. They looking where other cats coming to their territory. And we are not supposed to be like animals. We happen to look around and find out, and we got the equipment and even being living in this place, that you actually watch almost the rest of the universe, which is fascinating because it's the only place in the whole universe when you can watch through to see different things, which is mind-blowing if you think about it, and why we've been put here and not in other places. Anyhow, it's not anyhow, but those are, for me, the most crucial questions. And now, if there is energies that are here to do and help us human, if we can tune ourselves to be part of this universe and help to those energies to access and find a way through us, they want to help us in very part what we're doing in this treatment. I know it was a long story, but it's, if you can manage to open yourself as a channel for those energies, the natural one that really exist here to help the human race to put himself on the right path. Part of what we're trying to do in the treatment is to be, I would say, one of the example I will use, the German love cars. When your battery gets flat, you call to someone and say, can you charge my batteries back again?
Yeah, okay.
So I'm just putting the cables. I'm not even the batteries, if you see what I'm saying. So trying to create ecology which is invitational for those higher frequency, and to channel them and help to the person. Plus, what we're trying to do is to help to clean the frequency that was put in the person in the first place, or he put himself in the first place, not from his fault mainly, but because it was put in there, or by invitation he put it there. And there are frequency in this universe, on here on this planet, who can actually wipe clean you every day new, by the way. There are those, if we think about what is new, is fascinating on its own, because you want to, and a spirit is one of those parts that if they've been activated properly, they can wipe up all your history, by the way. So in relation to your Congress, I would say our spirit, which I don't know if you have a question about, but if it's activate, because it's sitting there and radiate all the time, but it's not always activating people. But in its activation, it can actually have an ultraviolet frequency, one of them, that can actually wipe up all our genetic. The stories of Moses going to the mountain, for example, I don't know, and he come out in the movies, and suddenly his whole change, his hair is white, he's radiating something happened to him that wipe up everything, and you get a new understanding, everything is different. And if you experience, and we all experience those frequencies, by the way, when the spirit came to our body at certain point in our mother womb, we all experience God in this frequency. We've been totally wiped clean. We've been fresh. You know why people have babies? They're kind of clean. They have no biases. They don't, or mostly, they're not fully clean, but let's say 1/3 of them is totally clean. And that's why we like them, because they don't think, oh, how ugly Thomas is or Amir is. Yeah.
Okay.
Which you're not. Yeah, you're a very nice man. But that's,
Ja, Amir, lass uns nochmal zu der Frage zurückkommen.
ja.
Wenn
Ja.
ich das jetzt so richtig verstanden habe, ist die Behandlung, ja, in der Aura, im energetischen, elektromagnetischen Feld, und was du jetzt als Nebeneffekt, Side-Effekt beschrieben hast, ist das, dass sich das Leben dadurch auch wirklich wieder verändern kann. Ja, es ist ja nicht nur auf die Sucht, auf den Alkohol, auf die Zigaretten, auf den Zucker beschrieben, sondern das elektromagnetische Feld, ja, klärt sich wieder. Ja, das, was wir auch theoretisch selber machen könnten, wenn wir eine klare Anbindung haben.
Ja.
Ja, aber durch dieses Treatment, durch die Behandlung klärt sich dieses Feld und es kann neu aufgestellt werden, stabilisiert werden. Habe ich das so richtig zusammengefasst?
Absolut, ja. Das ist der Punkt, was wir versucht zu bringen, ist die Körper zurück zu ihrer natürlichen Balance
Ja.
und sauber. Wie vorher, ich sage, wie eine Baby. So, manchmal, wenn Leute kommen, oh, ich sage das in English, when
Ja.
people come in and I look in the electromagnetic field, you can see all kind of things. When something happened in the treatment, I tell you, they look totally different. They're different human. And that's what fascinating me in my treatment.
Ja.
Because sometimes I can experience the real beauty of this human and the real beauty and even the feeling, I would say, I don't know if I can use this word in this gathering, but I feel the love of God, of how God sees the human through my eyes, a totally pure friend and companion of what God and the universe are here to do. So sometimes people ask me, so what did you see in my aura? It was, but what we tend to be sometimes, yeah, we immediately, because we are not used to live in the unknown. We are not used to be like babies. We are not used to be look at things fresh, new. Most people going back into their old thoughts, old program. The treatment trying to take it away and trying to establish it, trying to doing different things and doing with different things there, which I maybe will come later, that can actually help the person to reduce all those kind of excessive, I would say, our catch-22 of thinking, emotions, about how we think about everything.
Yeah.
And if we could look really fresh, new in ourselves. I mean, I treated a few times ago in a lady, and I see she doesn't stop thinking about herself. So what will happen if everything is going back into the history? What will happen if? What will happen? Yeah, and what I will... It's kind of, you print yourself, you put yourself in, yeah, just settle down, be still, just calm down and let your complex experience something maybe new, that it's not new, your complex, no, it's something natural, and it's sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes there is only half happen. I always say our treatment, I think I told you once, I say it's a how should I say, a synchronization between three things. It's the person, the people who need help, the person who come and try to help, and what want to happen between those three. At that point, at the treatment. Sometimes we had the jackpot. Yeah, I call it, like the three in those machines. Suddenly, everything flow, and the
Yeah.
person really fresh new, which I had few people which amazing story, really all their life change after such treatment. And sometimes only two coins coming out or three coins. And if the person can do with it, something great. If not, no.
Mhm. Jetzt kenne ich, oder wir kennen uns ja auch schon eine ganze Weile. Jetzt habe ich auch
Ja,
gemerkt, du forschst ja auch in Körpersprache, in Zahlen, in Farben.
ja,
Ja, und ich weiß auch, dass die Body Language, diese Körpersprache, sich nach so einer Treatment auch verändern kann, dass der Mensch auf einmal ganz anders agiert. Vielleicht
ja.
kannst du da noch kurz was dazu sagen und gleich ein bisschen überleiten. Welche Bedeutung haben denn, also weil ich ja weiß, dass du darin noch forschst, ne, was für Bedeutung haben denn Zahlen und Farben in dieser ganzen Konstellation?
Ja. Ja. Thomas, können wir machen 5 Minuten Pause? Ich
Ja,
brauche
sure,
kurz zwei.
sure.
Ja, ja. Okay. So the whole idea of different expressions or different things that we see around us, which is whether it's color, sound, as I spoke, smell, they're all shape, uh, language, which is fascinating on its own, which we come in a minute, where it's come from, why, I speak, even English is not my mother tongue,
Mhm.
what they call.
Ja.
Um, but when we talk about, I call it universal language, yeah, which is, I see it as a universal language, which is colors and shape.
Mhm.
And even letter, the ABC in Deutsch or the ABC in English.
Mhm.
Or in Hebrew, we say Aleph, Bet, Gimel. Yeah, that is, they're all very similar. They're all frequencies. They're all, I call it again, and I bring it maybe later to what is important, that everything the human do or see and smell, it's all universal language and shape and colors. And I call them, even what they're all, I call them little angels. They're trying to speak to us if we understand, if we want to understand that language, if we want to be part of this universal existence. Yeah, those are the way where I would say, even in high words, this is how God speaks to us in shape, in colors, in sound, in smells. I opened here the outside, yesterday I was so impressed by all the fields are covered with green. 3 weeks ago, it was all brown. And now you're amazed and you say, God, yeah, every flower you see is actually an angel that's finding its way out in color. And we look at and we look in flower and say, oh, how beautiful it is. It is very mechanical, but if you really see the flower, yeah, it's actually God existence finding its way to express itself here in the planet through a color, through a shape, through a smell. And, we look in the star, there are people, take Mozart, he everything for him was a music. He felt everything
Mhm.
through a music and he managed to put it together and translate it. And I would say that everything that we do, everything we think, it's not my thought. It's unless I repeat it, unless it's part of my behavior, my habits, unless it's my Zucht, yeah, it's all incredible energies. They're trying to find an expression here, and they mostly can find not only the expression as well through different like flowers. But the fact that I feel and see the flower, I give a return back to God in creation, that I say, I see you, I feel you, I know what you're trying to say to me. And that's the human part of partly why we are here, is to return back to God what he already created automatically. And he doesn't know what he created. He needs us human as the feeling, sensing organ to tell him that this is good what you did here. And that's what I see when I look at people. And when I see and I say, God, you done really well here with this person. We put here a mechanism, yeah, that can give a return back into God, that can say with agreement, yes, I agree with what was done here, and I'm with you, and I want to support it, and I want to be part of this system. And so every color, every shape, as I say, it's have a frequency, it's have a radiation. If people could see it, and if people, I would say, once will see the electromagnetic field of a human, they will not think anymore the human as the same. Because we are not trained to think like this, we don't train to feel and sense or see it, we don't have the right appreciation of our existence. And that's bringing me maybe to the closing, that everything around us, even with the food that we were talking, even with our ability to choose certain things, is a God-gifted to the human, and not only for us to enjoy it and say, fuck off, God, I will do with it whatever I like, which is bring us to another big issue that you ought to do about freedom. Yeah, what is a free spirit? What is a freedom at all? But I found the freedom in this. There is the freedom, the real freedom. And this is where the soul can flare. And this is where the spirit can flare if you feel it, if you see it, if you understand it, if you have the ability to be with it. This is where I found my freedom. And I think I told you maybe, I don't go to vacations. My vacation is if I feel free when I meet other people and something happened between it, and your spirit flare and my spirit flare, and I feel that we are part of much bigger system. I acknowledge it. I love it. I want to support such a thing. And I think it's make the world much better. We're all talking about making the world better, speaking about ecology, speaking about, I know we all have to earn money. We all live in a world, in a culture, or in a system that put us in a way a little bit in a prison. I would say even a little bit, most people in a big prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we can't find the reasons and thinking and have the feeling of our existence and why we are here. Most people don't even have the time or the ability to think. Or unfortunately, a lot of people in this world even had to think like animal, where do I get my next food, even or my next drink? And it's unfortunate that's not what we're supposed to be or do here. Obviously, there is too many people in this planet, not that I promote to kill it, but there is a reason why there are many. But can we make this place better? But I always say it's starting with me, starting with you. Can we create a better ecology in ourselves, that we can agree and see that we are part of a much greater system, and we are not put here just to do whatever we want, kind of, I put it in brackets, but really join to something much greater and be part of a greater system, which I believe that have a purpose and have a reasons and have a meaning. And yeah, and I know there is a whole ministers and army of the universe who, especially in this time, trying to come to help the human. And they bring with them a lot of energy that unfortunately a lot of people are using in the wrong way, that can make it very volatile.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a very high energy. You know, if you put a lot, what's coming in through the whole universe now is a lot of voltage and amperage from God in creation, because it wants to be close to what's happened here.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not translated right, it could be very harmful. And if it's translated right, it could be very uplifting and helping God in the universe
Mm-hmm.
to evolve and to refine and to get all this place
Mm-hmm.
and the universe much better.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and this is maybe, I would say the last point, one of the reasons here is our physical existence doesn't finish here. There is a journey. We are children in the kindergarten here on the planet. That's why we got all the tools, all the colors, all the possibility, the shape to play with, to understand. And if we use them right, we maybe get to the next class after we pass here
Mm-hmm.
to have another job somewhere else in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
If we do, you know, if you graduate right, you maybe get certificate to go to the University of the Universe rather than the kindergarten.
No. To the next planet.
Yeah. What?
To the next planet or to the next evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A planet, a star, or depend on the level of how you, what kind of frequency, what it is you are eating, and not just by food, eating in all the four levels when you've been here. And you hope that you will be eaten by something much greater, because everything eats something else. So if you want the angel to eat you, this is the best food you can give to the universe.
Mhm. Amir, kann ich das so vielleicht zusammenfassen für alle Freigeister, für alle Free Spirit Leute, die jetzt auch zuhören, dass es sich auf die Reise zu begeben, sich selbst zu erforschen, vielleicht, was du gesagt hast, das elektromagnetische Feld, die Zahlen, die Farben, das einfach mit zu bedenken und sich zu öffnen für einfach für andere Ebenen, die wir vielleicht bisher nicht gesehen haben. Is it like this? Can we say it like this? To open for another, for everything is here, which we can't see with our eyes and can't hear with our ears. Is it like this?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if we, and I would start with maybe what moved me or motivate me still is asking everything why. Why it's here? What is the meaning of why I see here in Germany so much green? Where this green come from? I know we have one level of answer. Yeah, it's photosynthesis, it's and you know, the plants, blah, 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 all the chemical things that we all learn in the school. But what if I say that is really an energy of the blue? We're sitting here on a blue planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the yellow of the sun coming and the warm. And if you mix yellow and blue, for example, you get color green, for example,
Mm-hmm.
even in chemistry.
Yeah.
So, but you can ask where it's come from, why it is there, why you have two eyes and two ears, you have 7 holes in your head. Yeah. And we have 5 fingers in our, what is it? Why they're different lengths? Why they're not the same lengths? So my way to open all this is really being a quest and ask everything. Is it including, I know you many subjects in your, even what do you wear? How do you go to sleep? How should I wake up in the morning? what kind of thoughts I will go to sleep with, and what kind of thought I will wake up in. Do I give some recognition, appreciation to what I see, what I get? If you eat something, no matter what, there is in all religion, they bless about the food that they eating. Yeah. And do you bless maybe every minute about the air that you breathe? Yeah, the water that you drink, about the fact that you can think. I mean, it's like, if we can think, I can think. I mean, it's open up to many things, as I say, and the colors and shape. There are different shapes that have attracting different things, and from triangles to, there are two main shapes in the universe, by the way. There is I would say the electrical, the line and the circle. For me, everything which interesting about the thing about two. And I would say, there is a whole lesson which I sometimes open up to do with the two frequency in life. Are we are more electrical in our more the line or more the circle? And we need to be both, appreciate and rise above them. We need to be neutral. We need to look at things not to be so identify with our problem, with ourselves. We think we are, as I say, we are in a much bigger system.
Yeah.
And we have much greater purpose to do here on earth. And I think this is a time, if we ask the right questions, I hope that people will experience more than just what the eye see, and hear more than what our ear heard, and smell more than what our, although in this world, smelling is not always comfortable, depend where you live, but but it's experience. And it's fascinating. So I don't know if it's an answer.
Yeah, thank you.
It's really to open up. I would say question everything. Don't take everything as for granted, and that's part of our problem, that we are familiar with anything and we're taking a lot of things for granted. Yeah, the fact even that we can look on one each other through our eyes. What does it mean? Why? Yeah, what the eyes means. And eyes is one of the shape and symbol, by the way, that used, not to go into ancient Egypt, which is another fascinating subject, because they've been the real Egyptian, not the one people talking about today, but those who came here from the other universe. They used different symbols, and everything had a meaning. And the eye is another Augen, you say in German, but and through language is one of the keys. Those are languages, and we didn't talk about this one, but it's one of the keys to explore, I would say, and find out, try to reach the origin of why certain things even call as they call. People here in Germany, they get fed up of me. I say, your name is Thomas. Where Thomas? Does it have a meaning? I don't know if I ask you, but a lot of my patients get really pissed to say, I don't know if it have a meaning. So I'm always curious to see why. And do I want to have a name for myself, which I have, which I choose, that I want to have a meaning in it. Yeah. Or so that's what I would say. Just open up, not to be fixed by anything. And as we started this conversation with, I would say again, we human, we are not supposed to be habitual, habits, and it's for robots, for animal, for entity. We have a choice, and we can be not fixed. And that's kind of, if I would say, my message is not to get fixed. And we fix ourselves by thinking, you say, oh, I am Thomas and I'm doing this and this. And I think you asked me about my I'm Amir and I'm doing this and this and I'm from this and this. I'm not. I'm not none of those things.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm more of a free spirit, I
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah.
I don't belong to anything that is here.
Mhm.
Identity is important, but not as a first. It's for location, but that's not who I am.
Genau.
Yeah.
Und es ist ja so spannend, immer, ich kann es ja bestätigen, immer wenn wir uns treffen, sprechen wir über solche Themen und es geht immer ein bisschen tiefer und es geht in
Yeah.
verschiedenen Bereiche. Es ist
Yeah.
unglaublich spannend.
Yeah.
Amir, ich danke dir für deine Zeit, dass du ja für das Interview bereitgestanden bist und ich wünsche dir alles, alles Liebe und Gute und ja, bis zum nächsten Mal.
Ja, ich wünsche dir auch und ich bin sehr neugierig zu, was Leute sagen, wenn das, ich weiß nicht, das hilft oder nicht, aber
Mhm.
äh, das ist natürlich nur
Ein
eine,
kleiner Teil.
eine kleine, eine small speck of dust
Ja.
in a big universe.
Yeah, I know, but I think we have to go one thing we have to discuss about one thing when we start with this, and
Ja,
maybe we do a next conversation if you have the time in some months or some weeks, and we go
ja,
deeper. And yeah, but
absolut.
thank you very much for your time and for all.
Thank you very, very much. And thank to the all viewers, all the humans here on Earth who hopefully something will pass on. And yeah,
See you. Thank you.
see you. Bye bye.